Hey, it's Todd again here from Playground World. Welcome back to you DIY or Springfree installers. But today actually is not something we do very frequently because you don't see too many issues. But we have a service call here for S155, which is a 13 by 13, and we are replacing the net. So this is a 2020, so 4-year-old Springfree tramp. The interesting thing about, again, taking down or replacing the net is you basically have to take the trampoline down to the frame, the way the rods all interlock. So you get to see almost a full disassembly and then reassembly. Let's take a quick look around. I'm going to flip the camera around here. So here we have the tramp. Again, this thing's always check. You might want to look for reference to see if the dots are still on the frame. There's the blue dot. Walking around, just making sure everything's in relatively decent shape, that you don't have to change anything else. They have a hoop on there. We've got to do a little doctoring on the hoop to maybe bring that back to life a little bit. There they have a rip in their net. And again, every trampoline from 2017 September that's newer than that has a 10-year warranty on the entire trampoline. And actually, as of this year, any trampoline that's less than 3 years old, they're actually allowing a transfer of warranty should they choose to move it. So we're going to take the ladder off. We got to take the hoop off so we can free up the net. Again, other little reference points, the C clamps you're going to see down here at the bottom of every pole. You want to take those out. It's going to make getting the pull out a little easier. Little ring, little tongue at the end of that. It's rough shape, right? Anyway, take the C clamps out. It makes taking down the net a lot easier. So we gotta take the hoop off, bring the net down, take the net poles out, take the mat off, take the rods out, and start all over again. So you get to see me do everything. I do edit. I do like to pause videos. That makes it just easier for editing. So here we go, but we'll do it in real time. Okay, so first we're just going to drop the net and take the hoop off. So pull the C-clamp out, makes it easier. Honestly, after doing a bazillion of these, I don't have to. So that's just for demonstration purposes. Stand to the side, there is tension on this pole. Give it a little tug, it's going to pop out, so keep all your body parts away from that. All right, take the hoop off. Okay, that's the hoop. Just taking the 4 screws out. Right, now we just could take the net poles out of the sleeves. You know, on some older trampolines, that can be a big challenge. If it is, I try anything I can do to just kind of soften up that material at the top. There's a little ring right here, so if they don't pop out really easy, you can work the material around a little bit, even put some hot water or something in there, or some lubricant, that'll help do that. If I were just replacing the net and I wasn't planning on trying to save the net, and I was having a hard time, I would probably just use the utility knife and just cut them away, right? Alright, so the 13 by 13s, we do have the long poles that go in those sleeves, so we got to recover those as well. All right, next is we're just going to invert the net. I like to push them down. I like to push this down because it gives me more room here, right? All right, quick pause. All right, this might be one of the reasons why you're watching this video, is taking out the mat rods. So when you're installing it, you definitely want to do what we call all the blue tabs first, right? The blue dots, there's 8 of them on this. That's when you're installing it, you're creating kind of equal tension, equal pressure as you go around, because if you start in one spot and you start adding rods, there's so much tension and strength of those rods pulling this way. When you get to the opposite corner, the socket to the rod is 2 feet away. You're never going to get it there, right? I believe, after doing several of these, that when you're taking it down, you can pretty much just pick a spot and start, and every single rod is going to get a little bit easier because there's less and less tension. So when you're disassembling, contrary to assembling, I just start at one point and I just keep going. I like to go right to left, because as I clear the first rod, and now that I have space here to where I'm not constantly banging. If I was going left to right, the next one, I'm constantly kind of banging my knuckles on the next one. So I like to go right to left, and again, elbow on the side, using your body weight. I do kind of like to roll this a little bit. I'll use my hand, I'll roll that up. I think that actually opens up that socket a little bit, right? So I'm gonna move the camera so you can get a better shot. So hopefully this helps a little bit. I'm not worried about my face, in the picture that is, but again, higher up on the rod is really important. A lot of people I see down here and they're two-fisting it, they're doing all this. It's crazy. The higher up, you know, build me a longer lever, I'll move the world. Up here, when you're installing, just slightly roll, a little pressure in the elbow, and you just need to get to there, all right? You don't need to get to there, right? So keep your face away from that. Higher up on the rod, hip, elbow, there you go. So I'm feeling with my hand there, right? And I will roll that a little bit, right? And that helps open that socket up. All right, quick pause. I'll try to get a shot from the other side. And again, every one I do is easier than the one before. I'm starting to unload it. Couple more shots. So, boom, boom, boom. Just getting out of kind of a rocking motion for me. All right, I'll put the camera back to the regular spot. And it's pretty easy at this point in time. Done. Done. Okay, so we have it taken down to the frame. Now it's time to get the new net out of the box, start all over again. All right, the new net out of the bag. What you're looking for, number one, is the green tab. Green tab. So this is also going to be whatever side you want the zipper, the opening to be on your trampoline. So green tab, first little slot, first rod, which I have over there, is next to a green dot. So on a S155, basically almost all of them, the long pieces, the flat pieces, the green dot is the furthest rod placement on the right end when the frame is in the upright position. The blue dots are generally the leftist most rod position on every single piece. So if you lose a dot, that would be helpful. So green dot, green tab always faces outside. So keep in mind, you're basically putting the net on upside down, right? So when you're all done, this is gonna roll back over. So green tab facing out, first rod. Here we go. All right, green tab, green rod, green dot, first one. Now I like to walk it right to left because that's going to pull everything down to here. All right. So now it's just a matter of feeding the rods in. You'll see my left hand slide across the top, and I'm actually feeling for the next hole for the next rod, so I don't miss one. Because if you miss one, you'll wind up and go like, hey, I ran out of something, and you have to start all over again. Really take everything out, start all over again. So I slide my left hand. I like to pinch some rods between my legs, so I'm not constantly just picking them up because I have to do a lot of these, but just feeding those rods in, taking your time. So feeling for the next hole, slide it in. All right. So all the net pole, net rods, bounce rods, whatever you want to call them, are all back in. So next part is to reinstall the mat. Blue tabs, blue tabs. All right. There's 8 blue tabs. There's 8 blue dots. Again, the blue tab is generally always going to be right above every section of frame as you go along as well. So as installing them, blue tabs first. Go all the way around, do the blue tabs. That'll keep equal pressure as you go around. Then what I like to do is basically skip 2, do 3, skip 2, do 3 kind of a thing. Again, equally pressure, and then my third trip around is finishing up everything, all the rods. So again, higher up on the rod, better. Palm up, elbow on your side, use your body weight. Do not put your face anywhere near those rods, right? I've seen videos where people are down here, like on their hands and knees right here. It's way easier with two people in the sense where if you have one person on the opposite side doing the rods, where you're kind of pushing against each other, that'll kind of stop the whole tramp from sliding. Sometimes that's an issue. You're spending a lot of entry, you're pushing the rod in and the whole trampoline's moving away from you. I've never had to do the two-man with the one guy on the inside, one on the outside, but honestly, if you can't get it done, that is probably the safest way to do it with that. No tools required. Again, if someone pulls out a wrench, a ratchet strap or something like that, run away, run away, run away. Okay, so here we go. Blue tab, blue dot, blue rod. Hey, really quickly, sometimes you find that some of the blue tabs are missing, the kids ripped them off or whatever, the blue dot's missing, you're not exactly sure. So as long as you have a reference point, like on the very first one, where blue tab, blue dot, then what you can do is discount rods. Discount every 8 rods and do it every 8 rods versus guessing, because if you guess wrong, then it'll look really wonky. So that's another little tip. That one's missing right there. Again, then skip 2, do 2. For 3. Again, I just kind of like to roll it. Get a little bit of a rhythm, rock in your hips. Again, I like to pull it up a little bit. Same time, you're also feeling to make sure that that rod clamp hasn't slipped underneath. Make sure that tab is always on the outside. All right, done with the rods. Now next is carefully bring the net up over. Be careful not to snag it on anything. I'm gonna adjust the camera here a little bit too. All right, let's bring the net up. especially these guys. Watch the net doesn't get snagged. Brand new net, last thing you want to do is rip it when you're doing this. I do like to walk it around to bring this up a little higher. All right, the horizontal rods, find the yellow tab. All right, pause for editing. All right, I'll try to flip this around. It's going to hold the tripod between my legs just to show you the net pole. Again, so you have the sleeve here. Slide this out a little bit. This is delicate for me, holding it with my chest. But basically, you know, just the ball through there, the ball through here, give a push. And this little ring right here, little ring here at the end, you're going to feel a little clunk. And you want to make sure the ball gets past that because that's going to help stop it from jumping out. And again, when you're doing a hoop, the clamps on the hoop, the top one always goes in that slot. That way the hoop is always in the same spot as far as how high or low on the pole. So if you do that first, the nut side's always to the inside. And then on a 13 by 13, you cannot put it on those long pole sides, but you put it any of the corners. One other thing is always, you have wide open spaces here. If you have wide open spaces, I try to keep the hoop away, a little away from the opening. Not a big deal. But for fenced in backyards, or let's say you had a big hill down there or some wood, I would say put the hoop where you want the ball to go when they throw it out of the trampoline, because they will. All right, let me reset the reset here. 1 second. All right, net poles. All right, for brevity's sake, and plus I can't hold the camera while I put the hoop on, I'm gonna do a quick pause. It takes me about 5 minutes to put those 4 screws on the hoop back in, and then we'll come back and you won't even notice I'm gone. And we'll put the poles up. All right, hoops on. So if you haven't put all the C-clamps on, put them all back where you can. Get that little tongue, fits in that little slot, and we're gonna pull the pole up. Again, key here, these have tension. Stand to the side. I'm right-handed, so my right hand's on the bottom side. Use my left hand as a bit of a lever. So you kind of just lever it, drop it in the slot, and give it a little push down. Sometimes you'll actually feel that little ring snap into the C-clamp. Not always, but yes. So stand to the side. And also I'm working the net up as I go. Last one, best one. I like it better. Better, happier. Hoop looks better too. All right, so that is a S155, S for square, 155 for 155 square feet. Take it down to the frame, put all new net back on. Looks almost as good as new, right? So again, Todd here from Springfree. Thanks for watching. You can always find my contact info below if you want to reach out to me with questions. And when in doubt, again, call the pros. That's what we do every day. We do it great. Thanks and have a great day.